Yeah, I'm okay with that.
ये वाला ना, कौन पूछ रहा था? ये वाला टेस्ट का ना, फिर डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम आएगा इसका, ये वाला फॉर्मूला।
सी, जैसे आपने 40.59 को 41 किया हुआ है, सर ने इसको 40 कंसीडर किया है।
कर सकते हैं, दोनों कर सकते हैं।
दोनों कर
हाँ,
सकते हैं।
क्योंकि टी टेबल है तुम्हारे पास।
हाँ, होगा, सर्च करना पड़ेगा।
एक सेकंड, टी
हाँ
टेबल।
बताओ, आप, मैं समझ लूँगा ऐसे ही। बताओ।
40 और 41 में एक्चुअली कोई डिफरेंस ही नहीं है, 0.001 का डिफरेंस है।
ओ,
इफ आई
अच्छा।
टेक 40 ना, डीएफ,
हाँ,
सपोज डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम 40 और अल्फा वैल्यू 0.025, ठीक है।
ठीक है।
तो 40 का वैल्यू है 0.25 में 2.021, और 41 में वैल्यू 2.020, तो कोई इतना भी फर्क नहीं होता है।
इतना भी फर्क
ठीक है।
नहीं। ओके।
जितना,
बट व्हाट वुड बी द आंसर, जो सर पूछ रहे हैं कि
कोई भी चलेगा,
40.59 को हम 40।
41 भी चलेगा, 40 भी चलेगा। बस तुमको मेंशन कर देना कि टेकिंग द राउंड ऑफ वैल्यू 40, फिर उसका टी टेबल देखना है। ठीक है। जितना हायर वैल्यू होगा ना उतना।
ओके। सो आर यू श्योर इसका और कोई रीजन नहीं है? क्योंकि सर
क्या
ने
रीजन बताया
स्पेसिफिकली
था सर ने?
मेंशन किया था कि इसका बताना मेरे को ऐसा क्यों है। सर ने पूछा था हम लोगों को, कल बताएंगे। अभी तो हम लोगों को पूछा था कि बताना
सर
क्यों होता
ऐसा
है
कोई
ऐसा।
रीजन तो नहीं है, मतलब जितना हायर वैल्यू, मेरे को जितना
ऐसा
पता है,
कोई।
डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम का वैल्यू जितना हाई होगा ना, उतना जो टी टी का जो सॉरी प्रोबेबिलिटी वैल्यू का जो होता है ना डिफरेंस, उतना कम हो जाएगा।
राइट।
तो इतना भी फर्क नहीं होता है।
ओके, ओके।
ये एक रीजन हो सकता है।
ओके।
मैं चेक करके बताऊंगा। अभी के लिए एक बार चेक करना सर के साथ कि वी कंसिडर दैट
या श्योर।
if the sample size is more than 30, that is infinite sample ना, ये रीजन हो सकता है।
हम्म।
मैं श्योर नहीं हूँ, तो एक बार सर से कंफर्म
ओके।
करना कि सर पूछेगा तो ये बता के देखना एक बार, सर क्या बोलता है फिर। होपफुली यही होगा आंसर। हाँ, तो हाइपोथेसिस 2 में क्या होता है? हाइपोथेसिस 2 मतलब 2 पॉपुलेशन मीन होता है वहाँ पे, ठीक है। हाइपोथेसिस 1 में हम लोग एक ही पॉपुलेशन मीन को कंसीडर करते थे, एक पॉपुलेशन मीन मतलब सिंगल पॉपुलेशन कंसीडर करते थे। सो इन हाइपोथेसिस 2 वी आर नाउ कंसीडरिंग विथ 2 पॉपुलेशन। ओके, so there will be sigma 1 and sigma 2, correct? For two population mean there will be two population standard deviation. Okay, and hypothesis part, 1 second, this is how we represent the hypothesis. Let me zoom the screen. This is how we represent the hypothesis: mu1 minus mu2 less or equal or greater or equal as per the uh, test type of the hypothesis, upper tail, lower tail. So the representation will be mu1 minus mu2. This is for with respect to mean, and if it with respect to the population proportion, then we will be representing with the help of p1 minus p2. Okay, population proportion, uh, p1 means population proportion for sample 1, and sorry, population 1, and p2 means population proportion for population 2. Okay, clear to everyone?
यस।
Okay, baki formula will be something different. This will be the z formula. So this is actually the representation is mu1 minus mu2 less or equal d naught. This right side part 0 is actually d naught. Is it mentioned there? Yes, it's mentioned over there. So this is the formation, like this first one, h naught mu1 minus mu2 greater or equal to d naught, and h alternate will be mu1 minus mu2 less than d naught. So what type of hypothesis it is? There are 3 types, right? What is the type of this? Anyone?
Left tail.
Sorry?
Yeah, left tail. This is left tail test.
Yeah, it's lower tail. Left tail or lower tail? Okay, so this one
Lower
is
tail
upper.
in your answer.
Yeah. So next one, the middle one is the upper tail because alternate is greater than, and this one is two tail test. So this is how we represent. So this is D naught. So in the formula Z formula, it's x bar, x1 bar means the uh, mean of the sample, sorry, population 1 and mean of the population 2. Okay. X1 bar minus x2 bar minus D naught. So D naught is this part, whatever given, whatever the values given in the problem or the numerical, that value you have to take here. And sigma 1, sigma 2 will be given in the question, and n1, n2 also will be given in the question. So you have to find the z value, and then remaining part is same as hypothesis 1. You have to go to the z table, then you have to find the means rejection or acceptance of null hypothesis. You have to check there are two approach, right? P value approach and critical value approach, right? What is the thumb rule of P value
Yeah.
approach? Anyone? What's the thumb rule? Hello. When is your exam?
Yeah, it's day after tomorrow.
Then what is the thumb rule of P value approach?
Sorry, but I'm not aware of that.
Anyone? There are 10 people, I guess. Yeah, that's correct. Alpha greater than P means you have to reject H naught. And if you were there in the last session, in my last session, I have told the critical value approach formula. That is one common formula for all the types. Means in the book it's given uh, one formula for lower tail test and another formula for upper tail test, and one another formula for two tail test. So for upper tail, lower tail, the formula is actually I find it's little complicated. So I told one simple formula if you have noted down in the last session. Do you want me to repeat that?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So in critical value approach, it is if the mod z calculated value means this one we are calculating now using all the values. So this one is z calculated. Okay. The test
Okay.
statistics part. This is z calculated. Correct. And whatever values we will be finding from the table, that is z table value. Okay.
Okay.
So if the mod value of z calculated, mod value you all know, right? What is the mod value you all know?
Yeah.
Mod value is the positive value, right? If z is coming negative, then always you have to take positive.
Yeah, mod value of z calculate greater than mod value of z alpha, then we reject H naught.
Yeah. Mod value of z calculated, if the mod value of z calculated is greater than z alpha means the table value for a particular alpha will be given in the question, right? Alpha will be 0.01 or 0.05 or 0.1. Either of these three alpha values will be given in the question. So you have to go to the z table for that particular alpha. You have to find the z value. Okay. So if you find that mod z calculated is greater than mod z alpha, you have to reject H naught. So that is the critical value approach, and this rule is applicable for both lower tail and upper tail. If you are using mod value, then it's applicable for both upper tail and lower tail. If you are not using mod value, then there is a different formula, or different logic actually, not formula, logic. Correct. So I'll suggest to remember this one only, so that you will not be confused during the exam.
Yeah.
Mod z calculated. Clear to everyone? Any doubt in this? This is small things that will be like that will have more impact on MCQ part.
Here the Z value is Z calculated here, this one.
Yes. This whatever you are using, like the whatever value you are finding using the formula, that is calculated one. And alpha means Z alpha means that is the table value. Right?
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So here, check this example. Z value we are calculating. This is calculated Z value 6.49. Okay. So P value approach. Compute the P value. You have to find the P value. So for Z 6.49, the P value is P value. How much is the P value? Can anyone check the Z table? Can you find that 6.49 Z value? Is it there in the table? It's not there, right? Yeah. So go to the Z table. Check up to 3. Z value up to 3 is given in the table, right? So Z value up to 3.09, it's almost equal to 1. So after 3 means when the Z value will be 4, it will be equal to 1 and it will continue. Means Z value greater or equal to 4, it's always 1. Getting my point?
Yeah.
Yes. So here we can easily say that P value is 1 second. How come it is possible like alpha greater than P? Alpha is 0.01 and P value here is nearly equal to 1, right? Can you find the mistake? Is it a mistake or am I doing the mistake? Hello?
Are we calculating this for two-tail test?
No. This is what? This is upper tail.
Upper tail, so that will be 1 minus.
Yes, yes, correct. So it will be nearly equal to 0, right? Yeah, thank you, Devasmita. It will be nearly equal to 0. Means we are finding when the Z value is 6, the P value is almost nearly equal to 1. So 1 minus 1 is nearly equal to 0, correct? So alpha value is 0.01, it's given in the question. So obviously it is greater than the P value we're finding. Are you all getting that what she said?
Yes, in one case we do 1 minus, and in the
Yeah.
other case.
As it is a upper tail test, so we have to do 1 minus the table value we are finding. right?
Yeah.
So table value is nearly equal to 1. So 1 minus nearly equal to 1 is almost 0. And alpha value is given 0.01. So alpha is greater than p. So that is why we are rejecting H naught. So just
Okay.
you have to, for two-tailed test, you have to remember this representation, how you are representing the null and alternate hypothesis and it is very important. And the formula, like the Z value formula is actually changing. Correct. And for most of the question, the D naught, this value will be 0. You don't actually need to represent this in the formula. You can neglect this one. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
is one part when sigma 1 and sigma 2 is known. And when sigma 1 and sigma 2 will be unknown, then what test will be doing? We'll be doing t-test, right? Yeah. Yeah, another thing. I was talking about the mod value. Here only p-value is, they are using only the p-value approach. Critical value approach they are not actually using. And in the question, I guess you have to use only one if it's not mentioned in the question. If it's not mentioned in the question that you use critical value approach also, don't use critical value approach because that is very complicated and uh, some of you might face difficulty to use that. So better you use p-value approach. Got it? Yeah, so there are three conditions, right? Lower tail, upper tail, and two tail. So in lower tail, it was Z calculated, mod Z calculated greater than Z alpha. Then it is, we have to reject the null hypothesis. And for two tail test, what you have to do, instead of alpha, Z alpha, you have to take alpha by 2. Are you getting my point? The formula will be same. Z calculated will be greater than Z alpha by 2. Clear? So if the alpha value is given in the question 0.5, you have to take the table value 0 for 0.25.
This is in the case of?
Two tail test.
Okay.
If you want to write, you can write mod Z calculated greater than mod Z alpha by 2. Then you have to reject null hypothesis. And if it's the opposite thing, you have to reject. Sorry, you have to accept null hypothesis. Got it? Remember this one, this condition might be asked in the MCQ part. Yeah, any doubt till now?
Got it.
Yeah, so coming back to this part, if sigma 1 and sigma 2 is unknown, then we will be using t-test, right? And for t-test, you always have to calculate degree of freedom. You remember that one. Degree of freedom you have to calculate. What do you mean by degree of freedom?
N-1.
It's the formula, but what is the logic?
No, the
I had all
significance level.
significance level is alpha, right?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm talking about what do you mean by degree of freedom? What the concept behind this? As this is very important, the concept. Don't do it blindly. If you are if you're thinking for analyst profile or taking analytics course in the next year, then try to clear those concepts. Why we are doing n-1? Have you ever think of that in the
Number of independent values.
yeah, that is correct. Have you ever think of that in the sample standard deviation calculation? X minus x bar whole square divided by n-1 under root. And for population, we are doing n only. In the denominator
Yeah.
part I'm talking. Have you ever think of that why we are doing n-1 and there and why in there? Try to think that.
Yeah, because we take a part, that's why we subtract 1 from the whole part.
Why 1? Why not 2 then? Why not 10? Why not 100?
That
Why
I don't
particularly
know.
1?
Never
Try
thought
to
of it.
find those whenever you have free time. So yeah, this is the formula of interval estimation. Interval estimation you all know, right? What the logic behind the interval estimation? The data lies between which point till the means the lower limit and the upper limit. And this is the degree of freedom formula. You have to remember. S means the sample standard deviation. We represent with S, and for population we represent with sigma. Okay. So N1 is the number of sample for sample 1, and N2 is the number of sample for sample 2. Correct? This formula you have to remember. Okay. So this is the point estimation. I don't think they will ask this question. Interval estimation. Yeah. Coming back to hypothesis part. So the representation is actually same. The hypothesis representation mu1, mu2, and d naught. Okay. So test statistics will be represented by this. Everything is same. Everything is same, right? Z is equal to, it was x1 minus x2 bar. Instead of sigma, here we are using s and s2, s1 and s2. So everything is same here, right? And so this is also upper tail test. We're finding that t value is 4.003. Alpha value is given 0.05. And for p-value approach, you have to find degree of freedom. Then you have to find the p-value from the t table. So here we're getting p-value 40.59. So we're rounding up to 41. Okay. So for degree of freedom 41 and what? Alpha value 0.05. What is the t value? Can anyone tell me? What is the t value? Degree of freedom 41 and the alpha value 0.05. So it's 1.683, right? It's given here.
Yeah, 1.68.
Yeah. And the p value, the alpha value is given 0.05. So t value you are finding 1.683, and the p value is 0.05. Alpha value. Now why they are saying alpha is greater than p? Can anyone tell me here? Why they are saying this alpha is greater than p? Are you all there or not?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yes.
Can you come again with the question?
P value we are getting 1.683 and alpha value is 0.05. Still they are saying alpha is greater than p, right?
Yeah.
Right. We are rejecting h naught. So why they are saying this? Can anyone tell me?
No, I don't know.
No idea.
So whatever the t value we are finding here 1.683, that can be used for critical value approach. So look at the T calculated value. T calculated value is 4.003, right? And T, this is the table value, right? 1.683. So what was the logic? If the calculated value is greater than the table value, mod, always mod, so it's positive, so I'm neglecting the mod part. So 4.003 is greater than 1.683. So what is the logic then? We'll be rejecting H naught, correct? As per the critical value approach, if you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
So, but how can you find a p value here in the T table using T table? That was a critical value approach, but here you have to use p value approach, right? So remember this thing: if you are using T table, and if you want to find p value from T table, you will not get a particular p value. In the Z table, you are actually getting a particular p value. In the T table, actually, you will not be getting any particular p value. There will be a range. You'll find one range in p value, right? Last session also I have already told. Let me present you the T table. 1 second, so it will be easy for you to understand. Anyone is having the T table in their laptop? Anyone using the laptop?
Yeah, I'm using it.
The T table. Yeah, last class actually I had shared in the group during the last class. I'm not able to find. Yeah.
No, wait.
Shall I present it or share it to you?
No, you present it. I'll do that.
Like, okay.
The scan copy of the book I had shared. That one.
Actually, I've just Googled it. I couldn't find that one.
Wait, then 1 second. Google that one is very confusing. Which one you have? That one is. Wait. Follow that one. What I have shared in the group during the last session.
Okay.
Meanwhile, do you have any doubt? You can ask. Any doubt till now?
No.
Hello?
Yeah, you can carry on.
Sorry?
No doubts as such. You can carry on.
ऐसे कैसे यार?
Yeah, I got this one which you have shared.
Yeah, I also got it. No issues now. You can open it in your system.
Okay.
Yeah. So degree of freedom was 41, and remember degree of freedom was 41 and alpha value was 0.05. Okay. And my t value is 4.003. Remember these three. So directly go to degree of freedom 41. So this is 41. What was my t value? T value is
0.0
t value 4.003, right?
and 0.303.
Huh?
4.00.
Yes, 4.003. So these all are t value, right? Whatever you can see in the screen, these all are t value, and upper this bold one are the alpha value, right? Correct. So for
Yes, yes.
degree of freedom 41, you can say this is alpha value or p value. We are comparing alpha with p. So when do we actually compare? When we actually can compare the things? We can't compare height and weight, right? Because the unit is different for height and weight. We can compare height with height, weight with weight, right? So we are comparing alpha with p, means alpha greater than p, then we are rejecting h naught. So that is the condition. Comparing alpha with p means both the unit is same. Both are actually representing the probability. Okay. So this is degree of freedom 41, and these all are t values. So find this from left to right, the t value is actually increasing. Can you find that? From left to right, the t value is increasing. And here the p value from right to left, it's increasing. The opposite one actually.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my t value is 4 point something. So it will be, if I see 0.02, 0.01, 0.05, 0.025, then 0.01, 0.005. So for 4 point something, the value will be less than 0.005, right? The p value will be less than 0.005. Tell me if you are not getting.
Please repeat that.
Look at the bold part, this heading part, header. From right to left, it's actually decreasing. And this t value for 41, 0.850, 1.303, these are the t values.
This is increasing,
Yeah,
right?
this increasing. So my value is 4 point something, right?
Yeah.
4.003. So it will
Mhm.
be, you have to go,
Less than 0.005.
yes, you have to go far more in your right direction, right?
Yeah.
And if you are going in your right direction, then the alpha value or the p value will decrease. Correct. So we
Correct.
can
Yeah.
say my p value is very less than 0.005. Correct.
Yes.
See this, the p value is less than 0.005. Correct.
Mhm.
Actually
Yeah.
you can use two less than symbol, which represents very less. You all know, right?
Yes. Yes.
Two consecutive less than symbol means it's very less. We can, that is the representation. So my alpha value was 0.05 and p value is less than, very less than 0.005. So which one is greater here, p value or the alpha value? Obviously the alpha value. So alpha greater than p, that is what
Yeah.
we are, that is why we are rejecting h naught.
Okay.
Correct.
Got it now. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So this was the sigma 1 sigma 2 unknown part. So we are using t-test, and for critical value approach, the formula will be same. Instead of z calculated, that will be t calculated and t alpha, and for two tail test it will be t alpha by 2. Right, everyone? Clear to everyone?
Yes, yes.
यार अभी से नींद आ रहा है क्या सबको? इतना सन्नाटा.
एग्जाम है ना एफएम का.
कौन सा एग्जाम?
एफएम.
AFM. Yeah, so this one is another type of problem of match sample. Is it done in your class? Match sample, is it there in your syllabus?
नहीं, अभी तक तो नहीं कराया है.
Not for NCP2.
No, I think it is not happened in the class.
not there in the syllabus
This is
form.
a representation. You can think and remember if it's done. Can you check once it's there on your syllabus or not? Because it was there in our syllabus and it's come under hypothesis 2. Means it's there in the hypothesis 2 chapter.
It is not there, I guess.
Okay, fine then.
Actually, we have
I
less
think
course.
hypothesis
Sorry, Siddharth.
hypothesis 2 is after test 2.
Seriously, all of
Yeah,
you guys.
for
Huh?
us it's only up to population Z test.
Population Z test is also there in hypothesis 2. Don't say like that.
हाँ मतलब वहाँ पे है ये कंप्लीट ये सब नहीं है जो आप अभी बता रहे हो.
But last class they said that hypothesis 2 is also there in your syllabus.
हाँ हाइपोथेसिस 2 का पॉपुलेशन तक है, ये नहीं
Okay,
पढ़ा है
okay.
जो अभी बता
T
रहे हो.
टेस्ट तक है कि Z टेस्ट तक है?
Z टेस्ट तक.
Okay, then leave it. Na? Then leave all those things. Why to take? The
Yeah.
population proportion is also there. This formula have you all used? It's not used, right? Then forgot everything. We'll come to that in next session after your NCP. Okay, then tell me what is your doubt? Is there any doubt in particular topics?
Can you tell what kind of questions can be given more in MCQ form?
That I don't know, yeah. During our time, it was only it was the second NCP was subjective type. So we had numericals, 10 marks
Yes,
numericals.
we were also told that earlier it would be subjective, but now it will be MCQs only.
Yeah.
So can they
So during
be
our time, it
given?
was sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And during our time, it was 30 marks paper, I guess. 3 question of 10 marks each. So
So
I don't really know about the
can they
MCQ.
will they be giving us numericals in the form of MCQs or something like that?
I don't think so because that will take time, right? Yeah, they might ask you for a simple problem like uh, suppose they give you the z value, z calculated value, and the alpha value is also given in the question, and they ask you to find the uh, rejection that using the rejection rule what is the criteria means you have to reject the hypothesis or you have to accept the hypothesis, so you have to go to the z table and you have to find the p value from there and you have to apply the rule.
All right.
Correct.
We can we see the Z tables, or they will give the Z table value?
I don't know, yeah. For our case it was given in the question, means
Okay.
for 3 question there will be 3 page and 1 page they will be printing the z table.
You can ask ma'am the same question in tomorrow's lecture, Siddharth.
Yeah. I have a doubt from today, yesterday morning,
I know.
yesterday.
Whatever it is you have the z table na, keep it open with you.
Yes, we have it.
So any doubt anyone? Means sampling part, any doubt? Let me come to the topic wise then. Exponential is there in your syllabus or not?
No, we don't have it for NCP2.
Then you don't have it in your syllabus. Then sampling. Any doubt in sampling part? Sampling, they might ask you some theory questions also. Like what is population, what is sample, what is sampling frame, then what is element, what is any other term is there? Infinite and finite population. This theory question they might ask. So it's written in the PPT, you can check. sampling of finite population, there will be different formulas for calculating the standard deviation. Sampling of infinite population, there will be different formula. Okay.
Okay, this one PPT you have already shared on the group.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Any doubt in point estimation? Sampling. What was that? Sampling part, any doubt? Have you all studied or not? Or you want to study the night before exam?
Yeah, I just did the sampling part only.
Sorry?
No, I'm saying I just read the sampling topic only. I did not go through the hypothesis.
Okay, then I have one question for you. Let me check how much you have studied.
I will try.
What is simple random sampling? You can check this one with the blue part, this one, right? Simple random sampling. What do you mean by that? This is very important, like the theory, this one. Do you know?
We will be taking random samples uh, from the given. I don't remember correctly.
Yeah, then let me tell. Simple random sampling means one best example is suppose telephone directory. You are conducting a market survey and you are taking response using you are finding the respondent using telephone directory. Okay. So in the telephone directory, you actually don't know anyone, right? So there will be no bias.
Yes.
Suppose if we are here 5 people, so if you have to select, if you ask to select anyone, you might select me because you already know me, right? But in the telephone
Yes.
directory, you don't know anyone, so there is a chance that you will be selecting anyone. So simple random sampling means from a given sample, you are actually for a given in a given population, actually for a given population, you actually select the select anyone without there will be no impact of any bias. So every people present there will have equal chance of selection. Okay, are you getting my point?
Yes. Yes. I'm getting.
Yeah. So that is simple random sampling. From a given population, there will be equal chance for everyone to be selected for a particular survey. This term is very important. And these all are actually, you can read all these. I don't know whether it's there in your syllabus or not, but you can have a fair bit of idea. Yeah, all those terminologies. How do we represent mean, median, mode for population, population parameter, sample statistics? Okay. What do you mean by population parameter? What do you mean by sample statistics then? Correct. Expected value, how do we represent this one? This, I guess this was there in our MCQ time. How do you represent expected value? Then you have to remember these formulas for calculating the standard deviation. I mean, how do you calculate standard deviation for finite population as well as the infinite population? And what is the criteria of infinite population?
That sample size has to be greater than 30. No, and this thing n by n
Yeah.
has to be greater less than equal to 5%.
Yes. This is also important for MCQ part, this question. And central limit theorem, you all know. You have to use like this Z. Previously for normal distribution, Z formula was Z is equal to x minus mu divided by sigma. It was right. Central limit theorem, it will be Z is equal to x minus mu divided by what? Sigma by root n. So instead of standard deviation, we will be using standard error. Correct? This one. So this numerator part sigma is standard deviation, and the representation this one sigma x bar, that is standard error. The standard error we are using for central limit theorem. Okay. One problem is here. You can check that. And yeah, this is for population proportion. What do you mean by population proportion? How many are there? What do you mean by population proportion? Only 4 of you. Anyone?
Don't know.
Population proportion means the success part. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
suppose
Mm. Then
suppose I am tossing a coin for 10 times and my aim is to get head. I am getting head out of 10 times. I have got head for 4 times. So the population proportion will be 4 by 10.
10.
So that is the success rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So population proportion, if it's given in the question, then you have to find the standard error of population proportion is like this. This is for finite and this is for infinite population. Yeah. So if n and p means the how do you mean by n and p? Means the multiplication of n and p.
Variance.
Huh?
Variance.
No. Think about
Expected
the
value.
binomial probability distribution. Expected value, yeah. NP is greater or equal to 5, then it's follow the normal distribution. If it in sampling distribution of p bar, if you find NP is greater than equal to 5, when these conditions are satisfied, the probability distribution of x in the sample proportion can approximately be a normal distribution. Remember this one. This is very, very important. Very, very important for MCQ. You can take the slide number. This is 66. This small question they can ask you in conceptual question, right? These all are conceptual questions, so they might ask in MCQ part. And this was the interval estimation, like the point estimation plus minus the margin of error. The margin of error formula, you have to remember. What was the formula? This one is the margin of error formula. It's Z alpha by 2 sigma by root n. And this is the point estimation x bar. So x bar means what? Point estimation means the mean value of the sample, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, the unbiased
Yeah.
one.
So I already told you to remember this table, right? What is the Z alpha by 2 value for 90% confidence level? Confidence level, either confidence level will be given in the question or the significance level will be given. So this is confidence level and alpha is the significance level. So alpha means 1 minus the confidence level. 90% confidence level means significance level will be 10%. Correct? So whatever it is given, you just remember for 90% confidence level, the Z alpha by 2 value is 1.645. If you don't remember this, you can find it also using Z table, but that will take a lot of time. So better you remember this, only these three values. And the question they will give only these three values will be used in the question. You will find either the significance level value 0.01, 0.05 or 0.1. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. yeah, so another type of question they might ask, they will give you the margin of error part. Directly they will give you the margin of error part and they will ask you to calculate the sample size. When you are calculating the interval estimation, you have to calculate the margin of error. The z alpha by 2 you'll be finding from the table, sigma value will be given in the question, n value will be given in the question, and x bar, it will also be given in the question. But in another type of question, they might give you the margin of error part and they might ask you to calculate the n value, means the sample size. This is also important for MCQ type. Yeah, remember one thing, for writing the interval estimation, like this, using the formula x bar plus minus. Plus minus means what? You'll be getting two values, right? One lower limit and upper limit, correct? So
You'll get the range.
yeah, range you'll be getting. So this is how you have to write the range. First the small value, means the lower limit, to the upper limit. This is how you have to represent. Don't do either way, means the upper limit then to the lower limit. Don't do that. That is wrong. So for the small value to the means the upper limit. Lower limit first, then upper limit. Don't do either way. That is totally wrong. Remember this one. Interval estimation of population mean when sigma known. Here it is given. Sample size is greater or equal to 30. That is adequate sample size. In most of the cases, the sample size will be greater or equal to 30. So you have to use the what? Infinite population formula for calculating the standard error. Okay. For t distribution, you always have to remember that we have to calculate degree of freedom. Okay. So what is degree of freedom here? This one. Degree of freedom refers to the number of independent pieces of information that go into the computation of S. Means that in simple term, the number of independent variable present. Okay. I had given one example in the last session or the last to last session. Like if you are counting, if you want to check the sales quantity, impact of sales means different factors on sales quantity. So take two factors which are actually impacting on the sales quantity. The promotion can be one factor. If we promote the product more, our sales will increase. Correct? Are you getting my point?
Yes, yes.
So promotion will be one factor, and any other factor? Can you give example which will have impact on sales?
Price.
Yeah, price will be one factor. Number of retail store. If retail store is more, then customer can buy more product easily. So how many factors are there? Sales is one factor, means the sales quantity. Okay. Another one is price, another one is promotion, another one is number of retail store. So there are mainly four factors. And which one is dependent variable here? Sales quantity, right? Sales quantity is dependent on the other three factors. So how do we find degree of freedom here? Means n minus 1. N means here how much? 4, right? So 4 minus 1. So degree of freedom is 3. So what is 3 here? 3 is the independent variable. Apart from that sales, quantity of sales, the other 3 are independent variable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what the definition of degree of freedom. Yeah, another thing, yeah, that will come. I'll come that. And yeah, these are the interval estimation formula. When sigma known case, for sigma known case, we'll be using z alpha by 2 sigma by root n, and for sigma unknown case, we'll be using t alpha by 2. Correct. For z alpha by 2, I already told you to remember that those three values from the table, right? For t alpha by 2, actually have to go to the t table and you have to find the values. So if you are getting t value, suppose your t value is sorry, t, not t value. Your suppose degree of freedom is 22. Okay, degree of freedom is 22, and your alpha value is 0.05. Okay, so what will be your t value? Degree of freedom 22. Okay, let me take 10, huh? So that you can see this one. So degree of freedom 10 and your alpha value is 0.05. How do you find that t value?
1.813.
Is it so? Check that. It's alpha by 2, and I said alpha is 0.05. So alpha by 2 will be 0.025. So this value you have to take
3.1.
2.228. 2.228, right? 0.05 divided by 2.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. This is easy actually, but if you want to find z value, z alpha by 2 value, that will be more time consuming. Better you remember those three values. Yeah, this one I was talking about. E. E means the margin of error. E or ME we represent. ME, margin of error. So E value will be given z alpha by 2. You can find from the table as per the alpha value given to you. Sigma value will be given in the question, and you have to find n value. So n will be represented like this, right? N we can keep it here, and E we can bring it to here. Okay, so root n will be equal to z alpha by 2 sigma by E. So root n, then if we square both the means the left side and the right side, we'll be getting the n value. Okay, got it?
Yes, yes.
And one more thing you remember, if using this formula, there might be a chance that you will be getting n value as fraction. Means suppose 21.67, suppose. So don't write that particular value. 21.67 if you are getting, and in MCQ part, if it's given 21, 21.67, 22 and 23 suppose. So better you take 22. If it's more than means the fraction part is more than 0.5, then take the next value, next whole number. Okay, if it's suppose 21.43, then you will take 21. Okay, correct? Am I correct?
Yeah, actually, in our class, ma'am told that whatever is the decimal, we need to take the whole number part.
Yeah.
Like whether it's 21.7 or 9, we need to take 21.
21.
Whatever is the decimal, we need to ignore it.
If the value is in fraction, I was coming to that point only. Mathematically, whatever I said, like 21.67, you have to take 22, and 21.43, you have to take 21. Mathematically, whatever I said, this is correct. But for this condition, as n represents the sample size, you always have to take the next value, whatever it is. If it is 21.002, then also you try to take 22, because this is sample size. Okay. Are you getting my point?
Got it.
You are using, let me take one example. You are using one pencil, okay? Your pencil is almost 1/4, okay? And you have another one new pencil. So if I ask you how many pencil you have, what will you say? You have 1.25 you say, or two pencils you'll say? Are you getting my point?
Got it. Actually, our sample can never be in decimal.
Yeah. No, that is fine. But mathematically, whatever I said means 21.43 will be taking the lower whole number, means 21. And 21.67, I'm saying the 22 you have to take. Mathematically, that is correct. But for sample size, you always take next value. Means if it's 21.002, then also you will take 22 for this condition, sample size. Clear? That is why I've given the example. Example is clear or not? If the example is clear, you will understand this part. Do you want me to repeat the example?
Got. No, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, see this. As per the mathematical rule, it will be it is 1/7, right? Mathematical rule, it will be 311 only, but we are taking 312. We always have to take the next value, whatever the fraction means the point value it is. Okay.
Okay.
So this is using the population proportion. The formula is here, and rest all are. This is how to calculate the n value using when the population proportion is given to you. Just you derive the formula from margin of error part. Okay. Any other thing remaining? Yeah, remember one thing for type 1, type 2 error. This one is important. What is type 1 error? What is type 2 error? This is important for the MCQ. And this will not come in the semester paper. Means the subjective type paper, they will not ask type 1, type 2 error. So this is totally important for the MCQ part. Better to remember this table so that you can easily understand. This is H not true. This is H not false. This is accept H not. This is reject H not. So this will come type 1 and this will come type 2. Type 1 error means when H1 is true and we are rejecting H not. Type 2 means when H not is false and we are rejecting H not. Sorry, we are accepting H not. Sorry. Okay. Any other important point? Yeah, remember all the hypothesis part representation. Means in the mean part, sigma, one tail test, this one. This is the representation, right? It is. Yeah. Or this one is a representation. And this is the rejection rule for different things, but don't use that. I already told to use a critical, that mod value approach, use that one only. That is a representation. Yeah, it's actually H naught mu less or equal mu naught. This 12 is actually represented with mu naught, right? See this, x bar minus mu naught. Mu naught means what? 12 here. Okay. They might ask in one tail test about when population mean sigma is known, how do you represent null hypothesis, or how do you represent alternate hypothesis? They might ask you mu greater equal mu greater than mu naught, mu greater than d naught. Suppose they will give you to confuse you, right? In some other part we are using d naught, right, for two population. So they might give that as a option to confuse you. Remember all those representation, the rejection rule and the acceptance rule, whatever you can say, using the p-value approach, using the critical value approach. Then yeah, for t, whenever you are using t, you have to use degree of freedom. And if you are using t distribution, means when sigma is unknown, if you are using t distribution, then you will not be able to find any particular p-value. For z table, you will find particular p-value from the z table, but in t table you will not be able to find particular p-value. You will find p-value as in a range. Okay. Remember this one. Don't get confused that time. I don't think any other point is missed. Do you have any doubt? Do you have any doubt?
No, not now.
No.
Yes. When is exam? Tuesday.
Yes.
Tuesday.